Hello. We are back to talk about books. Okay, I feel good. I feel great. Yeah, February was a month, wasn't it? I genuinely do not remember a thing that happened. Not a thing. Ooh, a squirrel. Must be making a nest. Huh. The first thing that I read in February was, of course, Journey to the West, Volume 2, revised edition, translated and edited by Anthony C. Yu. Folks, this book is incredible. It's whimsical, it's funny, it's humorous, it's adventurous. It makes me want to, I don't know. With this one, you get less of the Monkey King guy being a little rapscallion and more of him and Eight Rules and Sha Monk and all of them journeying to the West to get the scriptures in the West from the Buddha or whatever. I did read this. What amazes me about this book is the fact that it's very formulaic. They're traveling west. They come across some mountains. There's a demon in the mountains. The demon captures one of them and wants to eat them. And then Monkey King saves the day and they keep journeying until they come across another. You get how it goes. But somehow every single encounter with a demon is different. And yes, all the demons just want to eat them. And they never just eat them. They've always got them and they're like, let's just hold on to this guy for a while. We're gonna eat him, trust me about that, but we're gonna wait just a minute, and that gives them enough time to rescue whoever's got. I'm so excited to read all of the pillars of Chinese literature. I'm going through it. What else did I read? I ordered a book from the library. It was called By the River, Volume 6, 7 Contemporary Chinese Novellas. And the reason why I got this book was because I knew that it had a short story by Chi Zijian, and I wanted to read it. And the novella that was included in this book was called A Flurry of Blessings. I'm going to burp. And it was wonderful. Then I flipped through the book and I was like, are any of these other novellas of interest to me? And nothing really grabbed me except for this story called Voice Change by Xu Zichen. Xu Zichen? Somebody help me out on that one.
Xu Zichen.
Xu Zichen. I read his novella, Voice Change, and folks, let me tell you, that is the most deranged short story I have ever read in my life. It is so dark, twisted, devastating, horrific, monstrous, evil. You should definitely check it out. Maybe not. Maybe don't check it out. It's really, really sick and twisted. It's, I could not believe it. Probably the darkest thing I've ever read. I also read White Horse by Yan Ge. And folks, this book is so cute and little. Look at how tiny it is. Can we get more tiny books like this, please? Because I loved this. After all that was done, I read the book called Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Folks, what a good book that is. The language is so poetic, but it's not like poetic in a snobby, only intellectuals will understand what I'm trying to say. Another thing that this book does really well is making you feel the things that the characters are feeling. To the point where I got to the end of the book and one of the characters was struggling and I was struggling along with him. Now I want to talk about my progress in the One Piece world. This is a box set I'm working my way through. If you remember, I said I was working on volume 61 at the end of the January video, and I made it from 61 to I think 66. I can't read upside down, I guess. Only about that much, if you can see it. Shout out to my sister for loaning me that box set so I could read all these. Bad sister for the win. One Piece is great. What can I say? I don't know. Fishman Island hasn't been hitting as hard as other arcs of One Piece, but it's still pretty good. I want to talk about the book of the life, folks. In fact, can I cook for a minute? Would you let me cook? Thanks, I'm gonna cook. Folks, The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende. This book is the book of the life. This is the best book I've ever read in my entire existence. This is a book that will live on in my memory beyond the end of time. I feel like I need to cough. This thing goes beyond being a book. This is an experience. I got this book from the library to read it, and I returned that copy and I bought my own copy. I don't buy my own copies of books anymore, but this one warranted it. I felt to myself that I needed this to be on my shelf in case I ever needed to open it up and look inside it at the words, because that's how important this book is to me. The writing style is similar to Gabriel Garcia Marquez, who wrote 100 Years of Solitude and Love in the Time of Cholera and is an excellent writer. This thing, though, goes even beyond that, possibly. Maybe I should reread 100 Years of Solitude. Maybe I would appreciate the socialist themes more. This book spans across multiple generations of this one insane family. The thing about this book is it's like kind of like, I don't know if it's called magic realism, but it's like you feel like it's set in the real world, but magical unusual things are happening and everybody just accepts it and feels like it's completely normal. And I love stuff like that. It's so good when that stuff happens. And then this book takes an insane turn. It kind of dives into the very thing that I was reading about in the Jakarta Method, which is a military coup overthrowing a democratically elected socialist president. And I'm reading this like, this is so real. I just read about this happening in the Jakarta Method, and now somebody is novelizing it for me. They even mention Jakarta in that book, and I'm freaking out. This is an incredible portrayal of how this stuff happens. And then I look up the author and I find out that Isabel Allende was related to the actual socialist president of Chile, who lost control of the government thanks to a military coup that put in power some dictator guy named Pinochet. How do you pronounce his name? Pinochet? Pinochet. Pinochet. Freaking Pinochet. I bit my lip. Freaking Pinochet. She was literally writing about her own experiences and her family's experiences in Chile. Everybody needs to read this freaking book. You need to read the book. Why am I? Sorry. Didn't mean to grab your throat like that. It's so well written. It's so compelling. It's so magical. It's so horrific. It's so alarming. It's so beautiful. You read this and it changes you. It changes you. It changed me. I'm changed now. I'm literally 75 cents in change. All right. Whoa, what just happened? Did I cook? That is literally it. That's all that I read in February. But hey, March is going to be a better month. First of all, I am reading Howl's Moving Castle, the book. And folks, this book is already slapping so insanely hard that it literally knocked my teeth out last night. I got this book from the library. This is My Struggle, Book 5 by Karl Ove Knausgaard. Folks, if I'm going to be reading a book called My Struggle, it's going to be written by a Norwegian man whose struggle, in my opinion, is far more valid than that German guy's. I still do not understand why Karl Ove called his book series My Struggle, outside of maybe some sort of shock value. And also, every single book of his that I've read thus far in this series has given me cause to hate him and not respect him and somewhat dislike him. And yet I can't stop reading these books because they're so well written. And there's something admirable in just how honest he is, because it feels like somebody else might write their life story and sugarcoat their own flaws. And he's like, no. Look very closely. That is a flaw of mine. See what I've done. See what horrific things I've done. Now, I also got this book to read, and I was about halfway through it when I was ready to give up. This is Liu Xin's Real Story of A.Q. and Other Tales of China, The Complete Fiction of Liu Xin. And I know this guy is one of the most famous writers in China, and so it's wrong that I should be ready to give up on him because I'm having a really bad time reading this book. And I talked to my wife about it, and she said there's probably a problem with the translation because this guy's writing is incredible. And so I actually looked it up, and I found out that he has some of his writings translated by other translators, and just what I read online, I was like, oh yeah, some of those other translations are way better than this one. Frankly, I think the issue here is it's by Penguin Classics, and Penguin Classics does this thing where if they're gonna translate a book by a communist, they're gonna put a big introduction where they talk all about how awful communism is and how misguided the writer is. And they do that here. And so part of me is thinking they are translating his works without having any respect for who this guy is and what he stood for, which is a problem for me. I ordered his selected works, 4 volumes. I ordered a complete stories, so I am excited to give him a second shot with hopefully better results. So I expect to be reading a lot more in March, and I'm really excited about it. We will catch up at the end and see what I've actually managed to read. I'm slaying. Now, folks, I am not just a reader, I am also a writer. I have written 2 books. One of them is very good, one of them is very bad. The very good one is called Don't Worry About Me, I'll Be Alright. The very bad one is called Uzi. I wrote it when I was 19 years old. I was a little idiot 19-year-old boy, and I was trying to be funny, and I genuinely don't know if any of the jokes still land, but I'm gonna leave links down below in the description to where you can look those books up and see if you are interested in reading them. They were self-published through Amazon, and I am not a big fan of Amazon. I'm in my boycott Amazon era. I don't know about the rest of you. Just know that you have options, and they will all be linked down below, anywhere where I can find my books. Coming up this Friday, I have a video of myself reacting to the Planet of the Apes trilogy, including Rise, Dawn, and War. It was kind of my first time ever watching those films, so check that out. Every week, I put out a video that's better than the one before, so you should subscribe so that you can keep seeing better videos every week. Because that's pretty, I don't know, cool, I guess? I don't know. Who else is doing it like that? Not me. Wait, I am. Well, I love you all.